2015 studio still very much up here and running. Very soon we'll make our runs across the country with our correspondents giving us updates on what exactly is happening from around town. By the way, quick reminder here, just in case you missed that out, we were on the phone with the IG of the police here in the country, and he did say, well, there's no restriction on movement, so you can go about church activities, Palm Sunday activities, as well as election activities. And for those having a little bit of confusion as to what exactly will be happening in their neighborhood, specifically, we have that message coming in from Majek area of Abidjan Lekki. Well, Kairedo answered promptly to that particular question, saying, well, a couple of other places. In addition to that, we'll be having elections here in Lagos, southwest of Nigeria, specifically around Akowonjo, Igondo, Ipaja, Ayobo, Camp David, that's a place around that area, and of course, Aboru, Meron, Alagbado, Aja, Sangotedo. We said we'll have to give you a list of all of that so that you know where to go in case you haven't actually cast your ballot. But again, looking at the figures coming in, it shows that a whole lot is happening concerning this particular election. Don't forget, 1979 started off the presidential system of government here in the country. And on Friday, Malkwet took us through that process, and we were trying to look at the figures, how much they have increased or decreased, and how much of participation we have witnessed so far. Don't forget, we still have our platforms there for you, the Eyewitness platform, the social media is a buzz and a watch. Definitely, these are the Twitter handles for you to reach out on Nigeria 2015. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them there for you. And of course, all your messages will be up and running. For those reaching us from Bangkok, Thailand, we say thank you so very much. In the UK, Australia, and of course in China. That's the email, just in case you have 140 plus character to send your messages. Make use of Nigeria 2015 at channelstv.com. Don't forget, you can also reach us on our YouTube handle, which is youtube.com/channelsweb. Well, now for us to go to Malpe in all the studios. Malpe, I called your teacher, that was yesterday, that you take us through all of that process when people were about to vote with the 3D animation. But this time around, we're going back to look at the figure, because ultimately on this particular election, when we get to the end, results out, we'll be looking to see if the total number of eligible voters correspond with those who actually participated in this particular election and also married out with previous elections in the country.
Well, Sulaiman, I cannot wait for these figures to come out. Should you know that we've been monitoring what's been going on from the previous election, in fact, from registration to previous election and in different states collating the ones for the regions. And from what we saw yesterday, the turnout was very impressive, but what that would translate into figures and percentages is what we wait for, and we do hope that very soon, maybe in the next couple of days, INEC should have those figures out. But we will just refresh our memory to see just what voter participation has been like over the years, and perhaps our guests in the studios will be able to examine for us some of the issues that affect voter participation and what will come to play in this current one. Now, looking at 1979, it will pop up on your screen very soon. 1979, we had a voter percentage turnout of 35.2%. This is taking note of registration of about 48.49 million people. I think that should show up on the screen now, right behind me. The population then was very telling as well. The population was about 77.8 million people. Eligible voters, 48.49 million people, and total vote for that year was 17.09 million people. The percentage was 35.02. In 1983, which will not pop up on your screen, the figures were not available for that year, and they were not even sure. They had a question mark on them. I think there was some review. 65.3 million people were said to have registered, but total registration was at 25.45 million people. In 1993, the total number of registered voters, recall that in 1993, Nigeria was voting just after 10 years of military rule, and in 1993, the figure for the total number of registered people did not come up. We did not also have a percentage. As a result of that, we didn't have a percentage voter turnout. But we have the figure for 1993, the total voters put at 14.039 million votes for that particular year. Recall that it was also said to be the freest and fairest election that Nigeria has conducted so far, maybe in comparison with the 2011 elections only. The population there had shot up to about 105.2 million Nigerians. It was not very impressive, but Nigerians generally seemed happy with that vote. We know what happened in 1993. It was not a very pretty one. Well, we were in that particular process until 1999 again, when Nigeria entered the Fourth Republic, and that's when we now had a registration of 57.93 million people. That figure should pop up for you. But the voter turnout was also quite impressive. 30.28 million people were said to have voted, translating to 52.26% of the voting population there turning out to vote in 1999. In 2003, it was the highest ever recorded. You had a registration of 60.8 million people turning out to vote. You had the total vote put at 42.01 million votes, and that translated to 69.08%. It was the highest ever seen in Nigeria's history, and that happened in the Fourth Republic in the year 2003. In 2007, it dipped slightly. You had registration increasing, however, 61.567 million people registered, 35.39 million. If you compare that figure to what you got in 2003, where 42 million people voted, you will see that the figure dipped in 2007 to about 35.3 million people. About 7 million people were said not to have voted in the year 2007. But the figure, the percentage figure translated to 57.49%. In 2011, we had a different situation where people had to register all over again. The biometric system was introduced, fingerprints were captured. INEC said that they had about 73 million people on their database. It's the highest figure ever captured. That was before INEC cleaned out the register in 2011. About 39 million people. It still wasn't as high as 2003, but it was significantly higher than what we noticed in 2007. 39.46 million people were said to have voted. The percentage figure translated to about 53.6%. That was for 2011. Now in 2015, INEC said they maintained the same register. They cleaned out that register, and what they got was 68.8 million people registered to vote. That's close to 69 million Nigerians registered to vote. The PVC collection was, however, another kettle of fish, as only 56.431 million people turned out to vote, picked up their PVCs. 81.98% of the figure registered picked up their PVC. It was high enough. We're waiting to see now just what the voter turnout will be for 2015. And to help us with that, what we've done is also done a breakdown. And there's a lot of figures taken at once. But we've done the breakdown by region, looking at the Northwest first. The Northwest, about 17 million voters, 17.6 million voters were said to have registered to vote in the Northwest, but about 15.9, close to 16 million picked up the PVC. You find the figures you see there. Kano and Kaduna have the highest number of voters. They also happen to have a very high PVC collection, even though Jigawa in that area is said to have the biggest percentage of PVC collection. But Kano and Kaduna will be the states to be looking out for. I think they will be the swing states in this particular elections. In the Northeast, you have about 9.1 million voters in the Northeast. The PVC collection was about 7.91 million voters collecting their PVCs. In the Southwest, you have 13.7 million voters being expected in the Southwest. I think that should pop up for you very soon in the Southwest. And you have about 9.2, about 4 million difference not picking up their PVCs in the Southwest. The states to look out for in the Southwest will be Lagos and Oyo State, which seem to have the highest number of voters and also a very significant population, a significant number of people collecting their PVCs. In the South-South, you have about 10.05 million people registered to vote. About 8.4 million of that figure have picked up their PVCs. The state to watch, Rivers and Delta states. Of course, we're watching every state, but there's, of course, the big swing states there, Rivers and Delta will be the states to watch out for. In the North Central, we have 9.7 million people registered to vote. The cards collected, 7.66 million cards collected in that region. The states to watch out for: Benue and Niger states. They have the highest number of voters and also have a high percentage of those cards collected there. In the Southeast, quickly, we have 7.6 million voters registered. About 6.6 million of that, not too wide a disparity, about 1 million voters were not able to get their PVCs according to INEC's figures. And the states to watch out for in that region will be Anambra and Imo. Recall that Jigawa had the highest number of PVC collections. I think it was about 96% collection of PVCs in Jigawa State. Ogun State had the lowest number of PVC collection, being attributed to a couple of factors from INEC. But we'll wait to see just what the voter turnout will be in these elections, whether or not INEC has put in place everything that needs to be put in place to ensure that people do turn out to vote. Sulaiman, it's back to you.